and I won't let it slide. It's not the first time Justin will do such cheap tricks with poking eyes like those. His fight against Paddy will be his last name. UFC is only for the real fighters, not the cheater.
Were you surprised by Paddy's game plan?
I didn't understand his game plan even. He wanted to box with Gaethje, but he couldn't wrestle him, he couldn't box him. He just a little bit young and he has a better chin, but he's a trash can.
Just curious, what did you think about Paddy's chin? Because a lot of people say Justin Gaethje is the hardest hitter they've ever faced.
Yeah, but Paddy got knocked out like 15, 20 times. Yeah, Justin was like 3-4 years ago, he was different. Now it's like he's getting old and it's last a couple fights he got.
Paddy's heart, the grit of this kid. I don't care that he lost the fight. He comes back and murders like most guys.
Yeah.
Like anyone that doesn't have the grit. Like obviously everyone, like myself and everybody else, is worried about how much a fight like this takes out of you. But he's super young.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? I think he's young enough to bounce back from a fight like this and to turn it into a superpower moving forward. Because not many people survive Gaethje the way he does, the way he did, or like have moments of greatness late in the fight after taking the hits.
Do not, that Scalzer does not get knocked out.
Hold on.
My God.
I just felt like I did enough. I just felt like I did enough to get the job done. Paddy is getting the beat out of him right now. It looks like, Jesus, this might not end well.
It was almost like he understood the assignment. We're on Paramount. This is a new network. They're going to be new fans. We need to introduce them to what the UFC is. I think after watching that, everybody that was tuned in are going to be lifelong fans of the UFC. Because on this special night, there is not a sport in the world that can compare to the UFC, and tonight we have one of those special.
Truly electric and, let's be frank, the intensely noisy stir finally collapsed into a sharp, uneasy silence, and in that instant the entire argument between supporters and critics violently shifted shape. We moved past the lazy speculation of who might win or which absurd twist could steal the headlines, and instead everyone leaned forward, dissecting almost microscopically exactly how this long-awaited collision actually unraveled minute by minute inside that unforgiving cage. It was wild, because before the opening bell even rang, opinions among fans and analysts had been split perfectly down the middle, forging a fierce, almost physical tension that clung to the air like static. One side had fully expected Paddy's relentless, suffocating pressure and trademark chaotic tempo to break Gaethje down, to drown him, to seize control and command every second of the fight. Yet, just as many seasoned voices believed Justin's reputation for composure, paired with surgical accuracy and raw, concussive power, would ultimately decide everything. What made it even more gripping was how that same disagreement, that core fracture in expectation, stalked the fight itself, unfolding beat by beat like a dark, living story. This deeply shaped how every spectator and expert interpreted the action in real time, turning each exchange into a personal reckoning, as if every strike threatened to validate or shatter the prediction they had already risked everything on.
His entrance is good and it's all well and good to get the fans, but he needs to be able to fight. Obviously, we've seen him have great wins before, but to show you the durability he had in that fight tonight, do you feel like even though he lost, he will be considered one of the best in that division moving forward?
No doubt about it. I mean, he was the favorite tonight. I think that's what fucked him. Every other one, he's the underdog and everybody thinks he's going to lose. Tonight, he's the favorite. I don't think that his game plan was the greatest. Obviously, tonight he showed he is tough, he is durable, and almost impossible. I mean, especially against Gaethje. And you're eating those punches from him. You know, it's one thing to say, listen, I'm going to come out. I believe in, say, you know what? It's the third round. I got 2 rounds left. I might want to try to take him down.
Right before the first blow ever landed, the tension coiled tight. And that's where the chilling insights of the highly respected trainer Tim Welsh came crashing in, offering a razor-sharp breakdown of this explosive confrontation. He instantly zeroed in on Justin Gates's almost surgical tendency to deliver fight-altering damage frighteningly early, placing special emphasis on those relentless, venomous calf kicks. And you already know the cruel irony of those strikes. They don't look dramatic, they aren't flashy, cinematic head kicks built for viral clips and endless replays, yet they are patiently, mercilessly engineered to rot an opponent's base from the inside out. Now imagine it clearly. Once those kicks begin to land, They don't just unleash piercing pain. They steal your balance. They sabotage your stance. They choke your mobility until your legs feel heavy, useless, betraying you with every step. And when that critical foundation, that invisible anchor beneath a fighter, starts to fracture, the entire contest warps instantly. The pace collapses. Reflexes dull. Movements stiffen. Suddenly the frantic exchanges Paddy normally thrives on slow into something readable, something exposed, something a calculating predator like Garchi can dissect. In that compromised battlefield, Justin's natural punching power becomes exponentially more dangerous, because his opponents can no longer circle, pivot, or escape when survival demands it, transforming them into stationary targets waiting helplessly for devastation.
Performance, Paddy the Baddy, oh my god, he impressed the hell out of me. Incredible, he'll learn from that, but I tell you what, he's got what you can't teach. Heart, grit, determination, all that shit. Yeah, you can make tweaks, you can put the chin down, you can lift the hands up. What he showed tonight is that he is legit. The man is real, and that's for damn sure. He's at the hospital right now, he'll be fine, they just check.
This aspect became brutally difficult and was repeatedly confirmed by countless specialists, because the moments placing Paddy Pimblett in the gravest danger surfaced exactly when he burst forward into those wild, aggressive charges. Understand this clearly. Whenever Paddy detonated into his attacks with that unmistakable swagger and visible hunger, his defensive awareness tragically lagged a heartbeat behind his blazing offense, creating brief but lethal openings. And make no mistake, against a precise, ice-cold striker like Justin Gaither, even a microscopic fraction of a second can decide whether you land cleanly or lose consciousness altogether. That subtle hesitation inside Paddy's guard effectively left his jaw naked, hanging there like an invitation, perfectly positioned for Gaither to exploit amid those chaotic, breathless barrages. From Tim Welsh's seasoned vantage point, the math was horrifyingly simple. All it would take was one perfectly timed, merciless counter from Justin, detonating with his infamous, fight-ending power, and the entire contest could realistically be over in an instant. In those fleeting exchanges, the danger level reached its absolute peak, representing the most unforgiving and catastrophic risk imaginable in professional mixed martial arts.
Grappling, and I felt that he deviated from the game plan, meaning that if I was in his corner, you're going to move one, but he's got to keep his hands up here. I like the traditional look where you can move, you can elbow, you throw your right hand, right, left, high kick, push kick. You're just way more, this is standard. This is like the best option. But I still feel like he deviated from the game plan where I think he felt that he was going to be able to knock out Justin Gaethje, and I just don't think Paddy Pimblett has that torque. Not saying he can't do it, I just don't think he has the torque to knock out a guy like Justin Gaethje, who's been in wars with guys like Dustin Poirier, Max Holloway. Max Holloway's knocked him out. He's knocked out Dustin Poirier. He's been in wars with Eddie Alvarez. He's just been in a lot of wars on the feet. But when you look at some of the things that, Khabib did to Justin Gaethje, he made it look easy. He took him down,
Here lies the truly intriguing layer, the gripping contradiction at the heart of it all. Despite the constant, ever-present threat of a fight-ending strike looming over nearly every exchange inside the cage, Tim Welsh never once labeled this contest as a simple striker versus grappler narrative. And surprisingly, almost unsettlingly, he is absolutely right in that judgment. As rounds progress, particularly at the highest tiers of mixed martial arts, the carefully constructed game plans fighters bring into battle almost always fracture under relentless pressure. Fights like this don't stay clean or orderly, they unravel into something wild, volatile, and beautifully chaotic. That chaos manifests in savage grappling exchanges on the canvas, suffocating clinches along the fence where raw strength and willpower are mercilessly tested, and exhausting, awkward transitions that quietly dictate the rhythm of the entire war. And crucially, those frantic, scramble-heavy moments are exactly where Paddy Pimblett has repeatedly shown his very best form. He carries an uncanny, almost supernatural ability to lure opponents into draining, punishing sequences that sap their energy and slowly bend the fight in his favor. He may appear hurt. He might look momentarily exposed. Yet in a blink, through sheer grit and an unbreakable competitive fire, he finds an opening, seizes control, and violently flips the narrative. Watching it unfold feels less like strategy and more like witnessing a magician at work, conjuring momentum out of apparent disaster.
To this entire game plan, okay? Gaethje was going to pressure fight him, walk him down, guns blazing, turn it into a dogfight, and hopefully he outlasts Paddy. Okay, this whole game plan is banking on the fact that he knows he can take more, he can deal more, and he can capitalize on it later in the fight. Okay, because and to be fair, he's got legs to walk with that because he's done it time and time again. And round 3, we saw him be like, "Okay, I'm gonna take this round off.
I'm gonna back up a little bit.
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna stay at mid range. I'm not gonna walk you down and just let you come back a little bit, trying to build some energy." And everyone was worried. Like honestly, I saw like a glint of disinterest from Gaethje.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It was weird. But then round 4 just puts his foot back on the pedal, maybe knowing he's got 2 rounds left. Bar fight Gaethje. It was Gaethje of old.
This turbulent, brutally chaotic environment is precisely why Tim Welsh ultimately framed the fight as one decided by the thinnest margins imaginable, differences so small they barely exist. We're talking about a reality where one perfectly delivered, vicious strike, a punch, a kick, even a surgically timed elbow, could violently reroute the entire fight in a matter of seconds. The danger never dipped for a breath, it hovered permanently at maximum, balanced on a razor's edge from start to finish. And yet, despite that constant, suffocating threat, Welsh leaned ever so slightly toward Paddy, a choice that feels almost provocative when weighed against Gaethje's terrifying power. His reasoning wasn't blind faith but probability. Given enough branching outcomes, enough strange, unpredictable turns as the fight organically unraveled, Paddy simply found victory more often than not. What makes this assessment truly revealing, though, is Welsh's blunt admission that none of those potential paths were clean, safe, obvious, or even faintly predictable. Every route to success was tangled in chaos. Every option carried real danger. It was never going to be a controlled march, but a reckless, nerve-shredding high-wire act stretched over disaster. Still, within that madness, Paddy's peculiar skill set, his resilience, his adaptability, his refusal to break, combined with Welsh's lens, granted him a narrow yet crucial edge, not in certainty, but in the sheer number of terrifying ways he could somehow drag the fight to his favor.
I don't want to look like a loser right now, but everyone saw I was better than just in that fight, but the UFC wanted him to win. The lad smashed my eye with his finger. I had to play all of the rounds with a broken eye, which is not fair.
You saw him do it to Michael Chandler. He's taken on the highlight, Justin Gaethje. 26 wins, 5 losses, 20 KOs. The dude fucking KOs people. Early on, he'd calf kick the fuck out of people. He'd calf kick people where they couldn't take it anymore. He had many TKOs from calf kicks alone. The guy is just a dense fucking ball of muscle, built for fighting, 37 years old now. He's crumpled people with his left hook. He's crumpled people with his right hand. Paddy Pimblett is going to have to be very careful throwing his flurries on Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje will sit down and rip a left hook. He'll sit down, drop his head, and launch a right hand. That's Justin Gaethje's ways to win.
With every punch that landed and every kick hurled with bone-rattling force, the expert opinions among viewers split cleanly down the middle. It honestly felt like witnessing 2 completely different philosophies of violence smashing together inside the octagon at the same time. One camp fiercely believed Paddy Pimblett's chaotic, unorthodox movement, fused with his deeply wired grappling instincts, would eventually swallow Justin Gaethje whole in a rising flood of disorder. They were convinced Paddy could drag Gaethje into long, punishing stretches of discomfort, trapping him in ugly positions and stripping him of the calm precision-striking world where he thrives. The opposing side, however, placed unwavering faith in Justin's legendary composure, his fight-ending power, and his icy control under fire. Their belief was ruthless. Gaethje would make Paddy pay brutally for every reckless rush, for every sloppy, unpolished exchange he dared to initiate. These clashing interpretations transformed the bout into something extraordinary, where nearly every encounter, every split-second trade, felt loaded with the potential to rewrite the entire story in an instant. The energy inside the arena shifted constantly, almost violently, as analysts and fans alike struggled to keep pace, because neither fighter ever allowed the other to settle into a comfortable rhythm. Each surge was answered. Each adjustment was disrupted. Strategies shattered as quickly as they formed, leaving the atmosphere thick with uncertainty, tension, and the unsettling sense that the fight could tilt irreversibly at any heartbeat.
with the title around his waist. He earned it. Justin Gaethje's fought all these fucking monsters his whole goddamn career. Edson Barbosa, Donald Cerrone, Eddie Alvarez, Dustin Poirier, Habib, Michael Chandler, Charles Oliveira, Fiziev twice, Dustin Poirier again, Max Holloway. Like, holy shit. He's fought the elite. So I'd love to see Justin Gaethje get it done. If I had to put, fuck, this is hard. If someone gave me $10,000 to bet with, and they said, hey, put it on who you think's going to win. I'm going to say 60-40. 60-40. 40% chance that Justin Gaethje knocks Paddy Pimblett out. Hits him on his chin. When Paddy Pimblett's flirting, hits him right on his fucking, hits him right on the scouser chin. Boom. Gets dropped. 40% chance, I think. 60% chance this fight, Justin's not able to find him. It's a little bit, it's like a spastic, weird style. He's not able to find his chin. If Paddy Pimblett puts him on his back, it's going to be a long night.
Digging even deeper into Tim Welsh's razor-edged breakdown, he consistently framed the fight through the unforgiving lens of cumulative damage and merciless timing, repeatedly circling back to Justin Gaethje's savage, debilitating calf kicks as the earliest turning points that quietly dictate everything. His core argument was deceptively simple, yet chilling in its implications. Early leg damage, something Gaethje delivers with almost cruel precision, fundamentally warps the entire structure of a fight. Why? Because it doesn't just bruise muscle or rattle bone. It destabilizes posture. It strangles lateral movement and erodes footwork. And most critically, it subtly, insidiously alters defensive reactions the moment danger approaches, making responses slower, patterns clearer, and survival far less certain. Welsh also stressed that while Paddy Pimblett's aggressive, offense-first style defines his identity, it paradoxically manufactures dangerous openings, moments where exposure becomes unavoidable. For a calculated, lethal striker like Justin, armed with impeccable timing, a single clean window is all that's required to detonate the fight with one flawless, devastating blow. Yet this is where Welsh's analysis truly shines. He openly acknowledged that as rounds drag on, structure dissolves, and the bout almost inevitably descends into chaotic skirmishes and unpredictable disorder. And there, right inside that mess, is where Paddy's natural confidence, sharp grappling instincts, and relentless willingness to remain dangerous, even off his back, could carve a path to victory. As Welsh ultimately explained, this was never blind recklessness. It was a calculated gamble, an intellectual chess match where either man could be proven right, hinging entirely on critical moments arriving at the most disastrous possible time for the other.
You'd be served with Pimblett. Maybe. Gaethje, experience, good striker. He's well-rounded everywhere. But he's got to use the assets of a smaller guy. We've seen it, where you got to box, you got to use your legs, you got to set traps. You know, he's got the capability of doing that. Outmaneuver, outflank Pimblett. You know, Pimblett, let me tell you, he has improved a lot over the last 2 years. He really has, bud. He has gotten better. He's gotten more. You could see he's come into his own. Confidence-wise, physically, he's in great shape. They usually all are. But he's improved. His striking has improved. He's a good wrestler, grappler. But he loves to strike. That's what's going to make this fight really interesting and good. They're both going to strike. I mean, for the most.
Indeed, when a true titan of the fight game speaks, people listen, and the legendary boxing trainer and analyst Teddy Atlas dissected this matchup with the cold, penetrating clarity of a master tactician. His insights landed with undeniable force. Atlas relentlessly stressed that Justin Gaethje had to prioritize intelligent footwork, precise positioning, and disciplined command, instead of recklessly planting his feet and trading bombs as if trapped in a chaotic street fight or some brutal alleyway spectacle. He repeatedly underscored that Gaethje's immense experience only carries value if applied with sharp restraint, and that surrendering to a fan-driven, adrenaline-fueled slugfest would be nothing short of catastrophic. From Atlas's perspective, that temptation represented a strategic cliff edge. At the same time, however, he offered Paddy Pimblett genuine, hard-earned praise for the noticeable strides he has made both physically and mentally. Atlas described Paddy as tougher, visibly calmer under pressure, and far more composed when navigating those long, uncomfortable grind-heavy exchanges. He also highlighted Paddy's youth and raw energy as a decisive advantage, particularly deep into a fight when fatigue dulls reactions and critical decision-making begins to crumble. In Atlas's estimation, Paddy showed a superior ability to adapt and subtly refine his approach from round to round without abandoning his core identity or folding beneath mounting stress. That rare capacity to adjust on the fly, while absorbing punishment both physically and psychologically, can produce an enormous, fight-altering impact when a battle stretches into the later, punishing championship minutes.
I would go with the over on this because I think the over-under is like
2.5 rounds.
How many?
2.5 rounds over minus 115.
All right, listen. Again, we have a pretty good record here, but, you know, I mess up once in a while. I do. That's why it's gambling. But I like the over. I like the over. I mean, if Gaethje fights the perfect fight, you never know. You never know. But I know who the judges are probably favoring. Oh, did I say that? I'm sorry. There shouldn't be anything about that. It should just be about what goes on in the cage or in the ring. But I can't help myself but think about things that I see. So maybe, you know, Gaethje would really have to do a job, I think, to get it, which he could. But I think I'd probably favor Pimblett a little bit. But at the end of the day, if I had to put my...
Certainly, Max Holloway, always blunt, always perceptive, cut through the entire tangled complexity of this matchup with one brutally simple, relentlessly practical question. Its simplicity was almost unsettling. Could Paddy Pimblett truly endure Justin Gaethje's infamous fight-ending power without folding under the sheer violence of it? That question sounds basic, yet it drills directly into the terrifying essence of what makes Gaethje such a singular threat inside the cage. Holloway's perspective was clear and unflinching. If Paddy could summon the raw toughness and mental resolve to survive that incoming storm of punishment, then he undeniably possessed the core ability to twist those frighteningly disadvantageous moments into sudden grappling dominance and violent momentum swings. And at this level, Holloway emphasized, those shifts can flip the entire fight instantly, as if someone slammed a hidden switch. He also made one point unmistakably clear: Justin Gaethje, unlike so many others, rarely needs volume to change destiny. Every punch he lands with precision, every kick that connects cleanly, carries crippling, fight-warping consequences. One perfectly timed, brutally placed strike is all it takes to erase an entire round's worth of grinding effort and sacrifice. In Holloway's eyes, that reality loomed constantly, threatening to invalidate everything Paddy might build, possibly before he could ever establish any real rhythm, control, or sustained momentum at all.
If he can eat it, I can see Paddy catching Gaethje and maybe almost like a Oliveira fight, you know, catch Gaethje, hurt Gaethje wobble, and then, you know, get to Gaethje's back or something, maybe subtle. You know what I mean? Like, Paddy is very well rounded. You know, he out wrestled wrestlers, he out grappled grapplers. He stands with you. You know, he doesn't care. He throws. You know, everybody did like his chin is in the air. He takes shots, yeah. He takes shots and he still walks forward. How long will that last? We don't know. And that's the question I have to this fight. Or what his reaction is going to be when Justin Gaethje catches him. If Justin Gaethje punches...
In the end, the relentlessly perceptive Mirage Dvalishvili, renowned for his unyielding pace and tireless intensity, framed the entire bout as a true coin flip, a perfect 50-50ths from start to finish. He laid out two brutally unforgiving paths for the fight, emphasizing there was almost no middle ground, no soft landing. The outcome would inevitably follow one of two extremes. Either Justin Gaethje would methodically dismantle Paddy Pimblett, applying unrelenting, precise pressure, relentlessly whittling him down until Paddy could neither defend nor mount meaningful offense. Or, by contrast, Paddy would somehow endure that opening storm, weathering the tempest with poise, before steering the bout into chaotic, stamina-sapping grappling exchanges, where the driving momentum would slowly, but unmistakably, shift away from Gaethje. That shift would creep almost invisibly at first, before the audience gradually realized the fight's current had decisively changed. In Philly's estimation, the decisive factor wasn't mere technical skill, since both elite warriors clearly possessed the ability to win. Instead, it boiled down entirely to their fighters' raw pain threshold and the capacity to execute sharp, critical decisions under unbearable pressure. His insight unfolded across what could be imagined as 5 punishing rounds, with exhaustion and mental strain building relentlessly. Victory, he argued, belonged to the competitor capable of enduring that constant torment while still identifying the precise, intelligent instant to act. That is the warrior who ultimately sees his triumph and earns recognition when the dust finally settles.